expect this when you ignore the narcissist. A lot of you've had to go through so much shit with the narcissist that you were dealing with. They did all of these things to you, and you were just expected to put up with it and act as though nothing was happening while they were doing all of these things to you. They were abusing you, mistreating you. They were irritating you. They were getting under your skin. They were doing all of these things to you. And it's like you were dealing with this unruly child, this baby that was constantly throwing these temper tantrums as though they just wanted you to wipe their ass, change their nappies. And this was like a 24/7 job. It was something that never seemed to go away. You could never relieve the symptoms of their disorder. They were constantly on your case. They were constantly harassing you. They just wouldn't leave you alone. And yeah, after a while, you've had enough of being treated like garbage. Because deep down, you already know that you're worthy and deserving of more. You no longer want to put up with it. And you decide to give them their own medicine. Because yes, sometimes they may have ignored you. They may have cut you off. They may have given you the silent treatment. And you see them doing it and you realize, okay, maybe that's not such a bad idea. Maybe I should ignore them. So yeah, that's what you may have done, or that may be what you're planning to do. And the reason why it's different to when they ignore us or give us the silent treatment, because that is intended to harm us. They want to be around you 24/7. They're constantly occupying your time and space. And then all of a sudden they cut you off and you feel like something is missing. Even though it was bad, even though it was toxic and harmful to you, it's like at one point something consumed the space and then it's no longer there. So of course you sense that loss, you sense that something is missing. And they use this as a game. It's intended to harm you, it's intended to confuse you, to make you think and wonder what you did wrong. But of course when we do it, that is a different story. That's a completely different thing altogether, because we are doing it to protect and preserve our well-being and sanity. So of course, with that in mind, that makes it okay, because we're not doing it with the intention of harming someone. Yes, of course, when we do that, as I know in my own experience, it may unintentionally harm them. And there's not too much we can do about that, because as I said, we do it to protect and preserve our health and our sanity. So that makes it justified. That means that it is okay. Because yes, sometimes we're human beings. We do need to put ourselves first. We do need to decide what is going to make me happy right now. What is going to make me feel good? Because yes, I am a person. I am a human being. And I do have my own feelings and needs. So yes, there's nothing wrong with wanting and desiring that. It brings us a sense of peace and fulfillment. What's wrong with that? But of course, these narcissists, they're not going to see it that way. When you do that, they're going to see it as though there's something wrong with it. You're doing something bad. Because they get very envious and jealous. They desire to take something away from you, and they constantly feel like you're taking something away from them, even though it never belonged to them anyway. They see people as objects, as extensions of themselves, as their possession, and that just has narcissism written all over it. And they do that because they're self-absorbed and they lack empathy. They don't care about anyone but themselves. So of course, now they don't want us to do it. They don't want you to find that satisfaction and fulfillment, because you do know that by doing that, you will enjoy it. It will make you feel good about yourself. It will boost your confidence and your self-esteem, and you will just find happiness within yourself. It will nourish you. Yes, that is a source of nourishment. It's like a mineral or a vitamin. It just nourishes you. It makes you feel good about yourself. And how can something that makes you feel good be wrong? But of course, they will shame you. They'll try to make you feel guilty for doing that. As though, no, you just need to devote all of your time, energy, and effort to them or to what they want you to do. When there's just no compromise whatsoever. You don't get to do what you want to do. And you realize at some point it's either their way or the highway. There is no compromise. There is no understanding. There's just no compassion whatsoever. Because clearly they are not about love, intimacy, and connection. So at some point you understand that the only thing you can do to protect and preserve yourself is to ignore them. And to just continue on your path, your journey to what you believe and know is right. And of course, when you do that, they're not going to like it. It will cause a narcissistic injury. It will make them very mad. And they will decide to lash out at you because you made them feel some type of way. Remember, they see people as objects, as extensions of themselves. So what you do to them, what you do for yourself to make yourself happy, it indirectly affects them. Because remember, you are their object, you are their possession, you belong to them. As sick as that sounds. Because I do believe in peace and freedom. I do believe that yes, we are our own separate people with our own feelings and needs. And no one should come around and tell you how you should feel or what you should need. You've already got that built in inside of you. You already know exactly what you want. But as I said, yes, they will try and shame you for wanting to do that, as though something is wrong with it. Oh, there's a little lizard here. I just saw it running past. It's a funny looking thing. Don't know where it's gone now. It may come back. But yes, they will try and guilt and shame you for ignoring them, as though that is the wrong thing to do. And they will gaslight you. They will deny any wrongdoing as though they never intended to harm you, when the entire time that's what they've been doing, devaluing and degrading you. And you just get fed up after a while. You don't want to do it anymore. So you decide to ignore them so that you can focus on your own passions and purpose, which is what we should all do. But they don't want to support you on that, of course. And yeah, it causes a narcissistic injury. It makes them really mad, and they don't like it. They want to lash out at you. They want to cause you problems because they get very envious and jealous. They don't like you. They don't like you spending any time by yourself. So once you do that, by that point, it's all about trying to tear you down, trying to make you regret your decision. They'll try and make you feel like you're missing out on something. They've got all of these big plans, these big things going on, and you're not a part of it. When for you, you may have just desired the little things in life, but then they had a problem with that because of their arrogance and their grandiosity. To them, it's all about the big things in life, the things that are superficial. They don't want to look at the things that are actually real and authentic, the things that really matter in life. They don't want to support those things. But of course, we eventually ignore them because, yes, that's what we're looking at. We're about those things for real. We do care about things that are authentic in life. The little things, just like what I'm doing now. I'm just walking around here, admiring this view. Yes, people like us, we do admire the little things in life. But for narcissists, of course, it's all about this grandiosity. It's all about the big things. And yeah, they don't like it when you do that, when you ignore them. Because you're going within to find fulfillment in the things that they can't find any fulfillment in. They have to be about all of the big things in life. When we don't have to be about that. Yes, we may enjoy these things sometimes, and that may be the icing on the cake for us. But for them, that is everything. That is the only thing that matters. But to us, that's just a bonus if we get to do that. So, yeah, as always, with whatever you try and do, whatever you try and accomplish, they're always going to try and make you feel like you're wrong. So they will go in opposition to you. Remember, when you ignore them, they're not going to get any supply. You're cutting off that attention, that validation, everything that they need to survive emotionally, because they can't generate their own happiness from within. So by that point, it's all about trying to make you regret your decision, trying to make you feel like you did the wrong thing. And they will then find new supply. After a certain amount of time, I mean, in some cases, you may ignore them for a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, and by that point they're already looking for new supply. They're already trying to find someone else to replace you. And if they have it their way, they will try and find someone who they deem to be more attractive, more powerful, wealthier, whatever it may be. But if they can't find that, then they will still flaunt it in front of your face as though it's better than you. And believe it or not, but a lot of times that can even hurt even more. Because you look at it like, if you can replace me, as though that's better than me, then what am I? Where am I? If I'm not even on that. And deep down, I think they already know that that is how it makes us think. You can see this. Of course they know that. And they do this deliberately sometimes. They purposely find someone who is completely beneath us because they know that when they do that, we're going to be comparing ourselves to them. And because we're empaths, some of us may have low self-esteem. We're going to feel like we don't even measure up to that. Of course, that's just going to make us feel like we're garbage, like we're nothing. Like we don't even belong on this earth. If we can't even compete with that. But yes, This is how they will make us feel. By doing that, flaunting this person in front of our face, whether they are better than us in some ways, or maybe they're not. Either way, it's still going to affect us. And it may even make us feel like we made the wrong decision, as though we never should have ignored them, as though we should have just stayed in that situation to be abused and mistreated. But yes, they are doing this to make you feel like you're missing out, to make you feel regret, to make you feel envious and jealous, and to make you want to try harder and to try and compete with them, to make you work hard for their attention. Because yes, of course, in relationships, you should want attention from the person that you are with. Of course, you shouldn't be on their case all the time. You should have your own thing going on as well. But if you are in a healthy relationship, healthy or not, you should still desire to have your partner's attention, their cooperation, their understanding, of course. But they will try and shame you for that. And that is when they will often give you the silent treatment to harm you, to shame you, to make you feel like what you're doing is wrong. And when you just desire to protect and preserve your health and sanity, they will try to make you feel like that was wrong as well. By going on and flaunting their new supply, posting these pictures on social media, making you feel like you just made a big mistake. When in actuality, they were the creators, the orchestrators of that situation. And they're fully aware of that. Of course, they already know that their actions, their behaviors led you to commit those actions or behaviors where you then decided to ignore them because you couldn't take any more. Of course, yes, they do work that back and recognize that their actions led to your decision, where you decided to do that, where you decided to ignore them. Because if everything was okay and they were treating you right, they weren't abusing you, why would you ever decide to ignore them? Yes, of course, they do recognize that. But they will play the victim. They will act like something is wrong with you. And they will use that as an excuse to justify their actions, which are unjustified because they were the cause of it. And as though, yes, because you ignore them for a little while, you just want some peace to yourself. Now they've got to go and run off to someone else and flaunt that in your face, knowing fully well that, yes, it will make you feel like shit because you are an empath, maybe a codependent or people pleaser, and you do look at yourself and you feel like, yes, what if that is me? What if I did get that wrong? What if I did make a mistake? It's very easy for them to brainwash and indoctrinate someone who is a codependent, people pleaser, or an empath. Because yes, you're all ears. You're listening to whatever they have to say, whatever they have to show you. At times you're like a baby, you're willing to absorb new information, new suggestions and ideas, and they know that. They exploit that, they take advantage of it, and they use it to hurt you, to turn your own mind against you and make you feel like you're bad, you're wrong, you're crazy. And it's very sick behavior, but this is what they do. They use it to turn the tables on you, to reverse the roles around, to make you feel like something is wrong with you. When in actuality, there is nothing wrong with you, just you're stuck in this crazy illusion that they pulled you into. And it's hard to find your way out of that. Once you're in it, it's hard to get out. But yes, this is what they will do to you. And this is why I make these videos, to validate your experiences, to let you know that yes, I can understand you need to protect and preserve your health, your sanity. Of course, you need to do that sometimes. You need to recognize that you are not alone in going through this. I've been through it myself many times, where they push you to the point where you can't take any more, and then they blame you for that as well. They blame you for that as well. When a good person, a true empath, they would be able to stand back and recognize, yes, I can see, I can understand how my actions ultimately led to your choices and decisions. If they could do that, everything would be okay. But no, unfortunately, people like me have to get on here and speak the truth and tell things how they actually are. People like me have to get on here to do that, because that is the only way that people will understand. If I didn't do that, do you think anyone would actually come to this conclusion? Of course not. They wouldn't. So of course I have no choice but to get on here and to do that. Otherwise, no one would arrive at this conclusion. But yes, this is just how it is when you're dealing with these types of people. This is just how it is. They will push you to the point where you have no choice but to ignore them. And then they will blame you for that, and they will use it to justify their actions, which is always just going to be further abuse. It's not going to be anything else other than that. Sometimes it may be love bombing if they think they can pull you back in, if they think that you may still be susceptible to their manipulation. But otherwise, they're not even going to do that. If they don't think they still have a chance, then they will just continue with the devaluation, the discard, triangulation, flaunting this other person in front of you to make you feel bad, to make you feel like you did something wrong, you're losing your mind. And that is why we should only thank God for people like me who have the courage to come on here and to share this message, to validate people who are going through this, people who are losing their minds, people who may be at the brink of attempting suicide, taking their own lives, because they just don't know what else to do. And yes, this is happening worldwide. Millions of people around the world are going through this, so of course, there are going to be thousands of people around the world who are taking their lives every year because of these messed up people who invalidate you, and there's no cut-off for the abuse. They push you to the edge where you can't take any more. And then they expect you to deal with that. I didn't expect to see this. A monkey crawling here. But I think it's nice to show it. Many of you may know already, I was bitten by a monkey. I think it was 2 years ago in Thailand. It was very painful. I had to go back and forth to the hospital for a month. Let's just take a moment to observe this beautiful view right now. This is definitely one of the best views that I've seen for a while. I hope to see more like these in the future. I know that my viewers enjoy it, so yes, I do try to accommodate these types of things at the same time. Lives. These sick people who devalue us because they're insecure and they have low self-esteem. It's like someone getting me to the end of this cliff and just nudging me off with a stick. That's exactly what these people do. They have no accountability. They manage to hide their actions. They keep a code of silence. No one knows what these sick people are doing. That's why I'm so voice. A lot of them need a voice before it's too late. Because it's wrong. These people, they are not deserving of contempt. They do have a lot of potential. They could be something great. But these sick people have the nerve to devalue and validate them, to prevent them from becoming what they could be. And I know that many of you may with this message right now as you are watching it. And I have to say, this is what compelled me to validation, the code of silence. It's wrong. No one deserves to cry and cower those doors. No one deserves to do that. And I can say myself, of course, in my own experiences, yes, I've done that many times. I've done that many times. And it just makes you feel like you're not as great as the person that you actually are. Like you're nothing. Like you're not worthy of anything. But in actuality, you are a lot more than what you have been led to believe. You really are. And I can tell you that. But these people, they don't want you to know anything that they want you to realize is that you're so much greater than what you actually are. They'd rather you just jumped off a cliff right now with this belief in your mind that you're nothing, you're nobody. That's what makes them want to attack you. That's what makes someone to devalue you, discard you, and then triangulate you with someone else, flaunt their new supply, because they're insecure about their own beliefs. And yeah, that's all they can do. Whatever they do, it's always going to be manipulation. As I said before, the best you'll ever get from them is an illusion. You're never going to get anything else other than that. And yeah, that's pretty much all they can do. Brainwash you, indoctrinate you, ride along with you to whatever you're thinking about. It's always about, can I either go along with it and make them believe that, no, I'm not the devil? Or can I have a good opposition against them? Because if you are a powerful opponent, I can tell you that they're not going to do that. If they are genuinely insecure about their beliefs and where they stand, they're not going to be in direct opposition to you. If you do find your power and your strength, there's no way in hell that they're going to do that. Instead, what they're going to do is they're just going to kind of go along with it. They're going to kind of mock you, kind of humiliate you, belittle you, but still kind of acting as though they're along for the ride, and as though they're validating you. Because of course, if your reality is so strong, they're going to give you these suggestions and ideas that do kind of align with your beliefs. Because if you're really a powerful, strong person, that is the only way that they can control you. They have to try to hop onto your frequency, although they're not really there. They're still wearing a disguise. They're still wearing a mask. They're like this devil in disguise. They're not who they say they are. So then it becomes just an endless distraction, because they're distracting you from the truth. And you got to think, why would someone want to distract a person from the truth? I mean, wouldn't we should all be about that, you might think. But no, of course they're going to distract you from the truth, because they're already aware that their reality is false. They're very insecure about their beliefs. So, yeah, they look at it like, keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. Because you are an enemy, you are a threat. And they're trying to take you down by going along with it instead of being a direct opposition to it. Because they know that if they are in direct opposition to where you stand and to what you believe in, if you are a powerful person, they already know that by doing that, that's going to put them at a disadvantage. That's automatically going to make them inferior, because they're never going to be able to defeat you in a rational argument. They're never going to be able to do that. So all that they can do is act like they're along for the ride. They're encouraging you, they're supporting you. They're always there, they never give you any space, they never give you any time to breathe. They're like suffocating you like you're a child, because they're trying to enforce their indoctrination, their beliefs onto you by mocking you, belittling you, humiliating you, and acting as though you're right, but then you're wrong. You're crazy because you're constantly distracted, you're constantly detached from reality, because everything they show you is such of low energy, of a low vibration. Because it's all about guilt, shame, desire, maybe at times maybe pride, but there's never actually a call to action. They're never actually doing anything, and they're never actually giving you any room to do anything either. So, in the end, it leaves you feeling disempowered, because they're giving you all of these suggestions and ideas, but nothing is actually coming out of it. So, yes, that can be a problem as well. When you are a powerful and strong person, that can be a problem for you too. Either way, whatever they do, they are trying to manipulate you, to indoctrinate you. They're trying to win. And it's an endless competition, because they kind of already accept that, yes, they are losers. They already accept that, yes, they are no good. So it's this endless competition. They're always trying to beat you, to outdo you, to outsmart you. That's all they're ever trying to do. Because that's what happens if you look at it I mean, first, yes, they devalue you, they degrade you, and you accept it. Okay, yes, maybe I am a pile of shit. You stop resisting it, you stop giving your energy to it, you stop feeding into it. And then they just kind of jump on the bandwagon. They act as though they're encouraging and supporting you, whatever gives them power over you. Because it's like either way, it's like there's no other way that they can win. Whether they love bomb you, whether they devalue you, you're still going off feeling like you're the shit. And they realize, yes, this is a problem. It's like all they really want is for you to feel like your reality is false. You don't know who you are or what you're about. Something is wrong with you. And yes, as though you just don't know what you're about. Or as though you're bad, you're crazy, you're wrong, you're all of these things. And that's pretty much the goal, the objective, is to get you to surrender, to submit, to abandon your own personality, identity, and beliefs. Everything you stand for in life. Because yes, they do realize that that is a serious threat to the illusion and to the false character that they have created. So that is why. And yeah, so at some point they recognize that whether they love bomb you or devalue you, or sometimes even discard you, it's not going to make any difference. And then they come to the conclusion that all they can really do is constantly be over your shoulder, constantly giving you these messages in your ear where they're constantly trying to indoctrinate you and make you believe all of these things, even if it is what you already believe, but they're constantly there. They're constantly in your face. Your eyes and ears, your mind is constantly on something else other than yourself. You're not paying any attention. At some point, that is to get you to focus on anything other than yourself. Because they're very insecure about themselves and their own beliefs. They already know that what they're doing is wrong. So if they get you to focus on things outside of yourself, they look at it as though, I mean, whatever you feed into becomes stronger. It becomes more intense, especially if you're resisting it, because what you resist persists. So, and then sometimes they will go back to the forming once they realize that you're no longer resisting the devaluation and you accept the same to you, because then they instantly lose their power when you stop resisting. So then what they will do is just constantly love bomb you, and they'll just give you what you want, even though you're not resisting it, but it's still getting your attention. It's still getting you to focus anywhere but yourself. So they will tempt and entice you. They will give you what you want because you're still feeding into their reality. You're still doing what they want you to do. I mean, the whole basis of this is that, narcissists are self-absorbed, that they lack empathy. They already know that their false character and their false reality is fake. Yes, of course, they're already aware of that. They already know that they're bad, they're wrong, they're crazy. And that the longer you spend focusing your attention and your energy on yourself, that's the only conclusion you're ever going to come to. That's the only thing you're ever going to realize and accept. There's no other thing that you could possibly think of other than that. Other than that, they're bad, crazy, and wrong. And they're already aware of that. They already know it. Which is why it's all about manipulating you First by love bombing, because that's the way for them to get in. And then they go to the devaluation, which is really just to break you down and indoctrinate you to get you to accept their reality. And if that doesn't work, they discard you. If that doesn't work, they come back and hoover you, return to the love bombing, devaluation all over again. Everything they do is just to get you to denounce yourself, your identity, your personality, your own beliefs. Because yes, they're already aware deep down that their entire reality is false. They know that they're fake. They know that their world is fake. And they know that pretty much everyone they connect and associate with is fake as well. But guess what? They'd rather be fake and live in a fake reality than have nothing at all. They would rather that. But it's all about going around, and whoever has the power to challenge what they already know is bad and wrong, they've got to keep that person down. And those people are us, the people who have empathy, the people who have the ability to share and understand another person's feelings and opinions, other people who have been kept down. As sad as that is the truth. Because, and I can say myself, I'm quite comfortable being around other people who have their own perspectives, their own reality, as long as they don't force it upon me, as long as they don't constantly put it in my face. Yes, I'm fine with that, to let other people have their own separate identity, their own separate lives, as long as they don't try to indoctrinate me. Like, as you know, what I do with my videos, my channel, it's your choice whether or not you want to subscribe. You don't have to watch my videos if you don't want to, but it's there if you do want to watch them. I'm not forcing this down anyone's throat. That's the difference. Narcissists, they do force their information down your throat. It's constantly there. It's always in front of you. Like they're trying to hypnotize you. Like they've got a watch and they're just dangling it in front of you, brainwashing you, indoctrinating you, trying to get you to accept their ideals and beliefs, which they're already very insecure about. Because if you're so secure in your beliefs, it's like live and let live. You do you and I'll do me. But they can't do that. No, it's all about coming around you and suffocating you, trying to constantly overwhelm you. And that is how you already know they are extremely insecure. Because if you're not insecure, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that at all. You don't need to be so forceful. You don't need to be in someone's face all of the time, where you're constantly over their shoulder, you're constantly bickering in their ear. You don't need to give these hour-long monologues to someone who doesn't even want to hear it. You don't need to do that at all. But of course, if you bring this information to them, the first thing they're going to do is try and switch it around, deflect it onto you, even though you know fully well you don't even do that. You know fully well that they make you insecure, they devalue you. They're constantly trying to force you to accept their reality. When we are the healthy people, we are about accepting other people's realities, letting people be who they are, as long as they're not trying to change you. change who you are, your beliefs, your way of life, how you think and feel about yourself or the people in the world around you. They're not trying to harm you. But narcissists, they tick all of the boxes for that. They do all of those things. They want to harm you. They want to make you insecure. They want to make you doubt yourself and your reality. They want to make you, they want to change your views about yourself or the people in the world around you. And why? Because they're insecure. And that is why in the end, all you can do is just try and block them out. Just completely ignore them. And the crazy thing is, yet they wonder why. They play the victim. They act as though you're doing something to them. You're abandoning them. And you're thinking in your head, no, I was here all along. I was always there to help you. Within reason, within means, of course. But no, they never wanted that. They wanted to completely dominate you and crush your reality. And that is wrong. Let other people live how they want to live. Let other people make their own choices and decisions. As long as they're not forcing anything upon someone, they're not mentally raping them, and they're not harming them, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But no, they're not going to accept that. And in fact, they will do the very thing that they may say is wrong for you. They will go out and do that. They will go out and shut you down. And why? Because it's all about getting you to doubt yourself and your own reality. It's getting you to think that you're bad, crazy, or wrong. And that's all that it's intended to do. Because, as I said, yes, while they may be extremely insecure, it's also about, if I can trick this person into thinking that I'm right and they're wrong, even though I know that may not be true, then who's to say what's right or wrong? Who's to say that the person that they are, their beliefs, values, and identity never even existed? And they look at it like if it never even existed, then it was never true or real. As crazy as that sounds, that is exactly how they think. They really think like that. It's insane. If they can crush your identity and your reality, then they really believe in their minds that their reality is the only one that exists, the only one that is true, real, and authentic. As crazy as it sounds, that is what they actually believe. And that is why I make these videos, to empower and validate you. To show you that, yes, believe it or not, but you were actually right all along. The entire time, when you felt like something was not right, when they were devaluing you, gaslighting you, deceiving you, trying to get you to believe something that was not true, you were right all along. There was nothing wrong with you. There was nothing wrong with you at all. But it's all about getting you to think that there is. And they're very clever the way they do that. Whatever you do, they kind of do the opposite. Like you could approach something with a reasonable argument, with logic, and then they'll turn around and approach it with feelings. And then they'll try and make you emotional. They'll try and push you off your stance so that you become emotional. And then when you do that, they will approach it with logic. to make you think that you're crazy. Because that's what it does. The reality is that they can't approach anything with a logical argument. They have to go around it. They have to kind of beat you down and get you to doubt yourself and your own beliefs. Because by doing that, then they can control you. It's like deep down, yes, they already know what is right, what is wrong. They already know that you're right and they're wrong. That's the whole point. That's why they manipulate you in the first place. That's why they create the false character, the false reality. That's why they do all of those things. That's why they try to brainwash you. That is the whole point. I mean, they're not just coming to you and trying to tell you how they see things, getting you to empathize with them. It's more about just forcing you, mentally raping you to accept things that you don't want to accept. That's what they're trying to do. They are deliberately trying to harm you. Because they know that by harming you, it's going to make you weak, it's going to make you insecure. And then by that point, you're willing to accept anything. Whatever they will tell you, whatever they want you to believe. But a person who is secure in themselves and their own reality, no, they don't have to do that. They don't have to break another person down if they're really as strong and powerful as they say. They can stand as the person that they are and not have to break anyone down. And just be like, this is what I think. This is what I believe. You can accept it, or you can walk away and live your own life. That's what a strong and powerful person will do. They don't have to fight. They don't have to break anyone down. Narcissists, they do have to do that. They have to be constantly over your shoulder, constantly in your ear. Because yes, they are very insecure and they already know that their reality is wrong. Their reality is false. Of course, they already know that. They are fully aware of that and they know that you're an intelligent person. A lot of times that's why they target you. You're intelligent, but at the same time, you've never had that validation. You've never had anyone to really support and encourage you in your beliefs. So at times, yes, you do doubt things. You do doubt your reality. Even though in the back of your mind, you do have this intelligence as well. And that's how they're able to come in and get you to doubt yourself. Because you are the type of person who will stick in something and give everything you have. You will put all of your life and energy into it. But they won't. They'll just give little bits to try and brainwash you, to break you down. And by doing that, that's how they have the upper hand. They will put something out to make you doubt yourself and your reality. And because deep down you know that you're right, you know that there's nothing wrong with you, so you will try and prove your point. Try and validate your own argument. And then they'll just keep coming at you, they'll just keep swinging these blows to push you off, to get you to doubt yourself and your reality. And it's kind of just, they're just repeating the same thing again and again to knock you off your stance, to knock you off your path. To the point where you think you're losing your mind. When in actuality, you were right all along. You were right all along from the very beginning. They will do whatever they think is going to make them win. Whatever they think is going to give them control over you. whatever they think is going to knock you off your path. Because that is all that they can do. A narcissist is someone who will never understand your beliefs and reality because they lack empathy. So they're never going to understand you. Yet they will want to be a constant presence in your life. At times you want to always know that they're there. They might leave these comments on your social media. They might like certain things. Because it's always intended to give a subliminal message. A lot of times it is covert. And it's like no matter what you put out there, you can give everything you have in your life. Because as an empath, some of you may be codependents, people pleasers. You will put out everything you've got. You will give everything you have. All of your time, energy, and effort. And at the end of it, it makes it so easy for them to invalidate you. Because as an empath, you're not even looking at what they've put out. It's just you're looking at yourself and you're doubting it. It's so easy for people when you put something out. It's so easy for someone to turn around and say that it's wrong. But what about them? What are they putting out? Like when you argue with them, are they even putting out a rational, logical argument? Or are they just trying to deny, project, gaslight, blame shift? Of course, it's so easy for someone to do that without giving a logical, reasonable explanation. Of course, it's so easy for them to do that because they set it up in a way where you're the one who does all of the work. They don't actually do anything. Nothing logical. What they do is just crazy making. It doesn't really make any sense. It's all just word salad. It's just this and it's that, then it's this, then it's that. It's just spinning you around in circles. You're getting dizzy. It's driving you crazy. And that's how you already know that something is... You are not going to feel like you're losing your mind. You're not going to feel like you're going around in circles and your head's all over the place. And you're wobbling. It's like you can't even stand up a lot of times when you talk to them. And of course, I know I'm not alone. I know many of you who are watching this right now, you've gone through it. When you've talked to these narcissists, and you literally feel like you're losing your mind, like you're being pulled outside of your body and into their body sometimes, to where the only thing that you can do is see it from their perspective because you are an empath. So all you're doing is constantly understanding them, but they're never understanding you. It's just mocking, belittling you. It's like, yes, sometimes they may act like they're validating your reality, your experience, but it doesn't really make any sense. It's kind of like they're just standing there and it's like, yes, you're right, yes, that's correct. But deep down you know it's invalidating. And yet they will try and mock and belittle you and support you with other things, which is kind of things where you know, where you're not really sure about it yourself. You think maybe, okay, that may not have been right. They'll bring up things from the past and it's like, okay. It's all just to get you to doubt yourself, to make you believe that you have no stance at all. You don't deserve to have an opinion. When in actuality, they are the ones who don't deserve to have an opinion. Because with them, it's all crazy making, it's all word salad, nothing they say even makes any sense. a lot of them, they can't even put a sentence together. A lot of them are uneducated people, and yet they want to have a platform. They want to put their argument across. And if you go deeper into it, it never makes any logical sense. It never does. It's just one of those things they just put out there, and people have to accept it because of their feelings. If you look at it, there's no logic behind it. It's all their feelings and emotions. That's all that it ever is. It's never something simple, something logical, something mathematical, where it's like 1 + 1 = 2. No, to them, with their emotions, with their feelings, it's like 1 + 1 = 3. As crazy as that sounds, I know that's how it feels when you're dealing with them. You're constantly off balance, constantly off guard, because they're constantly poking you, they're pushing your buttons. And when they're constantly doing that, it's like they're telling you, get out of your body, get out of yourself, as though you don't belong in your own body, mind and soul, because something is wrong with it. And that is insane, because any normal person, even if you are dealing with someone who you may believe is lacking a sense of sanity and rationality, the last thing you're going to try and do is pull them out of their body even more. You're going to want to ground them in reality. But narcissists, no, they always do the exact opposite to what they know is right and not wrong, to what they already know. Because yes, if you look at it, they are very insecure about their beliefs, about their own reality. They're already very insecure about that. And that's why they've got to force it upon you. Which, as I've said before, that is not what I do in my work. You don't have to listen to this message if you don't want to. That's why I always come to quiet spaces out in nature. I try and find places where no one is around to share this message. And I have this channel, not everyone has to watch it if they don't want to. Because yes, you should just live and let live. Let other people live how they choose to. Of course, there are a lot of things in life where you cannot say whether it's right or wrong. As William Shakespeare once said, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And a lot of times that is true. Although I would argue if it harms someone, it's probably not good. But with a lot of things, yes, there are grey areas, and people should be allowed to go their separate ways and build their own communities where other like-minded people believe that that is okay, as long as it's not harming anyone. If it is harming anyone, then of course I can understand that other people should be allowed to step in from other communities. And that needs to be defined, what is harmful and what is not. What is affecting someone's physical, mental, emotional, psychological health. But if it's not, and the other person is a willing participant and they're okay with it and it doesn't harm them, then what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that at all? But of course I stand here today and I say that most of the things that these narcissists do, things that harm people, that is wrong. And that should not be stood for anywhere. But unfortunately, it is promoted in society today. The very things that are harming people, and yes, they know exactly what they're doing, and yet they still push and promote these things And a lot of people are seeing it who don't want to see it. And of course, I can completely understand that. If people don't want to see these things, it shouldn't be constantly broadcasted and flaunted in front of other people. Let other people live. Don't suffocate them. Don't be constantly over their shoulder and pushing their stuff down their throats if they don't want to see it. It's not right. But if some people want to see it, yes, that's fine. Give them the option to subscribe to it, to view it. That's okay as long as it isn't harming anyone. As long as it isn't harming anyone, I can subscribe to that. As long as it isn't pushing and provoking people into a space where they may harm someone in the future. Yes, I can understand that, of course. Because that is what we want to do. We want to push people into a space where they can be themselves, have their own values and beliefs, while at the same time they're not harming anyone. Instead of getting our feelings involved all of the time. Because we should know by now that when you get emotional and you get your feelings involved, it doesn't lead to anything good. It never does. And people need to wake up and start to see things from a logical standpoint. Because ultimately, in the end, that is what will protect and preserve people in our societies. But of course, a lot of people, especially narcissists, they're not going to listen to this message because they've always got to get their feelings involved. And the crazy, sick part about it, they will put their feelings involved even at the expense of their own health, even at the expense of the well-being of their own children a lot of times. Their feelings come before that. This is crazy. But sadly, yes, unfortunately, this is how people view things these days. And someone has to get on here and say that. They really do. But yes, as for narcissists, I recommend that you do continue to ignore them. They will come around you, try to validate you or invalidate you. Whatever it is, you should already know by now that it's not going to lead to anything good. It's not going to produce a welcome or desirable result. It's just going to make you feel like you're losing your mind even more. And that's when you should know that something is not right. I mean, it gets to a point where even if they do love bomb you, even if they do validate your experience, you still feel like you're losing your mind. Even when they do that. Even when they come back with the Hoover, with the love bombing, you're still trying to push them away because you know that they're fake. Because you already know that they're fake, because you've seen enough stuff in the past where it's never led to a worthy result. It's never led to anything positive or productive. So at some point you just get the picture and it's like, okay, whatever this person does, it doesn't matter. Whether they come back with the Hoover, the love bombing, it doesn't matter what they do, it's still bad, it's still wrong. I still just want it away from me. And when you get to that point, that is when you validate yourself. You become confident in yourself and your own beliefs. And you're able to walk away, finally. So yes, that is what you should do in the end. You should just ignore them and walk away. But of course, it's not going to be easy for a lot of you. Yes, it will be very difficult. It will bring you down a lot of times. Because of course, that is the last thing that they want you to do, is to validate yourself. At the end of the day, they want to be the ones who validate or invalidate you. They will try to invalidate you at some point. But if that doesn't work, they will go back to validating you instead. Either way, whatever works for them, whatever they think will give them power. What you need to do is you need to walk away. And that's what you have to do. You need to, well, your identity, your personality, everything that you stand for, it's just not welcome here. But you know what? At some point, it's not even going to bother. In the beginning, it may affect you, the rejection, yes, the abandonment. But with time, you're like, okay, yes, I get it. And that's okay. Because once you get to a certain point of confidence and conviction within yourself, once you get to that point, you don't even need anyone's validation. And in fact, a lot of validation, it can even seem like mockery at times because, yes, of course, I know I am the person that I say I am. I know I am what I'm about. And I don't need you to support or encourage me on that. At some point, yes, you do get to that point, which is the way that it should be. Because a lot of times with narcissists, yes, you already know they're self-absorbed, that they lack empathy. It's all about winning, power, and control for them. So even when they do compliment you or encourage and support you, it should be seen as just walking back along this path now. A giant ant. I'd never seen one before in my life. But yes, I can tell you, no matter what you do, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your breath by trying to support, encourage, persuade, or convince these narcissists of what you know you deem to be right. I can tell you that, yes, you are wasting your time doing that because they can only see things how they want to see them. Yes, I feel like you're losing your mind. Gaslit. And a lot of times you didn't even welcome it. You didn't even invite that to gradually and deceptively pull you down. Pull you down to their level, which has no limits, no boundaries, to where anything could be a possibility. Anything can happen. Because it's freedom, but there are actually boundaries there. Because when you truly love yourself, you will love other people. You will not decide to harm them or to force them to do anything. The lack of limits and boundaries, that comes from self-hatred. where anything can happen, anything is possible. And it's a very dark place down there. It's not somewhere where you want to be. But that is where they reside. And the only way that they can really reach you is to pull you down to that level. But either way, it's all about getting you to feel bad, crazy, or wrong. To get you to adopt radically different beliefs. To get you to experience the lower frequencies, the lower emotions. And they're not really too fussy about which ones they are. As long as it's anything that's lower vibrational. It could be desire, anger, fear, guilt, or shame. It could be any of those when you're dealing with a narcissist. But no matter what it is, you can be sure that it's not going to be any good because it's coming from them. And they do not produce anything positive or worthwhile. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you will only get garbage from them. And they will only get garbage from you. And that's all there is to it. You can't be yourself around a narcissist. And they will avoid being themselves around you. Unless they're just ready to rip the mask off. Because they already know that's going to affect you. They already know that's going to bring you down. Such a beautiful place here. It's kind of like a jungle and a forest. I mean, I've been to Japan and it's mostly like forest. Same as in the UK. Sri Lanka, that's more like just a full-on jungle, rainforest. But here it's like a mixture of both. Or at least that, yeah. I don't know if you think of it the same way, let me know. But yes, I'm gonna head back to the car now. Got the dogs just laying down there, resting. I really hope that this video was helpful for you on ignoring the narcissist and what to expect when you do that. Although I do not advise against it. If it was helpful, you can show your support by giving it a thumbs up down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I do read comments every day. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Click the bell icon to receive all the notifications. And if you'd like to book a one-on-one with me, you can do that on my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And check out my Instagram as well. I've got new pictures and videos of my travels on there every day. It is Narc Survivor YouTube on Instagram. All right, that's it for this one. But thank you all for joining me. And I will talk to you in another video very soon.